Thursday, May 23rd, Larry County Planning Commission. Let's do roll call, please.
Here.
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 Here. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, members of the public may comment on any item not appearing on the agenda. Under state law, matters presented under this item cannot be discussed or acted upon by the Planning Commission at this time. For items appearing on the agenda, the public will be invited to make comments at the time the item comes up for Planning Commission consideration. So that all interested parties have an opportunity to speak, any person addressing the Planning Commission may be limited at the discretion of the chair. Now, in order to be considered by the Planning Commission, testimony on public hearing items must be given at the time scheduled for the public hearing. At all times, please use the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Is there anyone wishing to make a comment? Not, we will continue. Approval of the minutes of the May 9th.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes for the May 9th, 2018
I'll second.
session.
Strong. Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Diaz.
Yes.
Vitigliano.
Excuse myself.
Aguilar.
Yes. I will go to the consent calendar, and there's an item.
Well, just through the chair, Aaron Bach, Chief Planner, we are going to pull item B for separate consideration, and I believe Commissioner Diaz may need to recuse himself from the second item, but I believe that unless there's a reason to recuse yourself from the first item with the Heartland Christian Camp, I think we could do that vote now on the consent calendar.
Okay.
I'll make that motion that we accept the consent calendar.
A second that motion for 4A.
Strong.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Diaz.
Yes.
Vitigliano.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Are you going to hear B right now? Okay, then I will need to recuse myself.
Through the chair, Aaron Bach, Chief Planner, Tulare County Resource Management Agency. Commissioners, before you today, we had initially intended to return with the REM Resources project on the consent calendar for approval based on a recommendation of approval 2 weeks ago. Since then, we've made some headway in regards to an easement question, but I did want to give the opportunity to all persons to talk about it one more time before we made a final decision. So I just wanted to quickly go over some of the easement concerns and how we're doing this approval. So as Dana Metlin presented to you last time, this is a special use permit for a private school with an agricultural-based learning program for adults 18 years or older on 10 acres in the AE20 zone. I'm just going to skip down quickly to the actual easement. Now, this easement was based on a vacation from the county. The county vacated that street to these property owners, and the vacation agreement required the property owner at the time where the mobile home park is to grant easements to the two other properties, non-exclusive easements. That never transpired. But the way our surveyor's reading it, the record as a whole, which includes the deeds that were granted from the previous owner to the mobile home park, does grant a public use easement in general. And the persons who represent the mobile home park disagree. And as I stated last time, that's fine, but our county surveyor is saying something otherwise. But I just wanted that all part of the record. Velma's handed out to you what the person representing the mobile home park believes, and I wanted to afford them the right to speak today before you make a decision in regards to this, and then we can respond to any comments today at that time. So with that, I'd like to open it up to public comment.
So this opens up the public hearing.
It does.
It's not really technically a public hearing, but the public can comment on this item.
Okay.
Good morning. We met a couple weeks ago. My name is Suzanne Taylor. I'm the executive director for Augusta Communities. We're a 501c affordable housing organization. We purchased the manufactured housing community about 2 years ago. Almost all of our residents are low-income residents, a lot of them without vehicles, lots of pedestrian and people who access the community on their bikes and on foot. My focus on the comments that I've been giving the chief planner really are related to the safety of the 24 households who driveways back onto the private road or ride their bike or walk on the 18-foot wide surface. In my view and in our review of the historical documents and the recorded documents, the street was never intended for public use and was not intended for commercial use. It was intended for residential use and for access to the maintenance yard for utility purposes. Therefore, the easement agreements that we hope to be crafting need to keep the traffic to a minimum, restrict access to those who have no business on the street in an effort to reduce the criminal activity that is already occurring on that street, increasing road safety and reducing maintenance costs. And I understand through the chief planner that the county is looking at ways to accomplish those goals. With regard to the resolution, I'm not sure you have my comments in front of you because I don't see them, but I have a handout that I'd like you to have, and then I'll just... But yeah, that's very similar. Thank you, Eric. Almost exactly the same. I did have an opportunity to talk to the owners of the Rim property, and they believed in their first review, and I can't really speak for them, but they may be in agreement that they don't think that the middle section of the private road is for public use also. So I won't repeat my written document that you have in your packet, but I want to just make sure that our concerns related to the public use of the roadway in front of our manufactured housing community is used as it was intended, and that any maintenance agreement moving forward and finalized easement agreements, which, as Chief Planner said, that have not been finalized, take all that into consideration. I didn't know if I stay for questions. It's not a public hearing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyone have a question? Thank you.
Thank you.
Through the chair, and what Suzanne was talking about was a maintenance agreement between the Manor property owners and the Rim property owners. We believe at this time, because of the condition of approval, that this would not record until that occurs, that this would be a great opportunity if this project was approved until that moment of recordation, that all parties would be willing and able to negotiate the maintenance agreement and potential easement agreements to finalize what should have occurred 12 years ago. And like she stated, the county is working on options for maintenance. We've already got some pricing, and we are considering putting a asphalt driveway along the north side of the road so that the kids don't have to use the road to get to the bus. And there's lots of options we're kind of throwing out there and playing around with, but those can all be part of this maintenance easement agreement moving forward. The applicant themselves has shown some willingness and good faith to potentially put some money towards the maintenance as well. So I think that goes a long ways towards getting us to where we need to be at before this records.
I have a question. Aaron Taylor, is it Taylor? Noted that the county is working on and trying to make the easement less accessible to crime, as I'm saying that right. Right. What is the plan? Is there a plan?
Well, the crime issue is it's within the city of Visalia. So as far as policing, I don't know if there's anything we could do from a design vantage to cure the problem, but there may be some exclusions to the easement. So it might be not a total non-exclusive easement. There might be some conditions put upon it that may help, but in general, the county is still going to require public access, or at least public utility access, as we move forward in maintenance. But I think through design, maybe we could take some of the parking allowances out, and so that might help. But in general, the county intends to upgrade the private roadway, which we're a 50% member of as far as existing maintenance. So I think moving forward it'll be much more helpful. But I don't know if there's a true fix to the crime issue outside of policing. But we'll be negotiating and working towards that prior to recordation.
So, Aaron, we want to solve for approving this with that condition added in?
Well, the condition was already added in, so at this point we could move to vote to approve the rest of the consent calendar.
Which number is that? I didn't see it.
B.
Item B.
Item B on 4B.
Missed it.
Oh, no, on the agenda.
Oh, no, I understand that.
Yeah, it's an agenda item, so there was no necessary.
But you're going to add asphalt?
Oh, no.
That's what I'm
I don't know what the final resolution is going, but I don't know what the final easement agreement is going to look like. I don't want to make that a part of this use permit necessarily, but the condition is that there would be a maintenance agreement in place prior to recordation.
All right.
Any other questions?
No.
We have, as part of the consent calendar, item 4B, left to approve.
I'll make a motion. We approve the balance of the consent calendar 4B.
I'll second.
Song?
Yes.
Millie?
Yes.
Elliott?
Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry, here we go. Tigliano?
Yes, please note,
Aguilar.
I did listen to the tapes on that meeting, so, yes.
Aguilar?
Yes. Okay, if someone wants to bring Commissioner Diaz back. Okay, at this time, we will continue with item number 5, which is the parcel map public hearings. Action on parcel maps in this section of the agenda will be heard in one public hearing unless anyone wishing to discuss any of the items requests that it hold for separate public hearing. No staff presentation will be given on any items unless requested.
Mr. Chair, on item D is, I've got a conflict there. My firm has this property in escrow, and the seller is doing a home retention split off of it. The rest of this property is in escrow.
Recuse yourself for D. I don't know if you guys want to, we'll pull it separately for a separate public.
We'll
Yes.
just-
Recuse yourself, and we can
I'll
go
just
ahead.
So what do you want, because they're
So
going
why don't you just stay here for right now, and we'll do A.
What? to, okay, and then when we get to D, I'll just recuse myself?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
B or D?
Pardon?
B or D?
D. Oh, wait, no,
I could recuse myself.
D, yeah,
D,
D.
D is a dog.
Okay, so we will open the public hearing if anybody wishes to have any of these removed.
For A through C.
Close the public hearing, and we'll continue with approval of tentative parcel map number PPM 18-006.
Make a motion, we approve category exemption consistent with the California Environmental Quality Act and the state CEQA guideline pursuant to Title 14, California Code Regulations, Section 15303, Class 3, pertaining to new construction or conversion of small structure, and conditionally approved tentative partial map number PPM 18-006 with a final map.
I second that.
Gong,
Yes.
Bailey's,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Tigliano,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes. Tentative parcel map number PPM 18-012.
Edit. This is not the one you need to.
No, not on B, no. So I'll,
D is the one.
E.
I'll make a motion that we approve categorical exemption consistent with the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, and the state CEQA guidelines pursuant to Title 14, California Code Regulations, Section 15303, Class 3, pertaining to new construction or conversion of small structures, and conditionally approve tentative parcel map number PPM 18-012 with a final map required.
I'll second.
Gong,
Yes.
Bailey's,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Tigliano,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes. Item C is tentative parcel map number PPM 17-01051.
Make a motion, we approve category exemption consistent with the California Environmental Quality Act and the state CEQA guideline pursuant to Title 14, California Code Regulation, Section 15303, Class 3, pertaining to construction and location of limited numbers of new small structures, and conditionally approved tentative partial map number PPM 17-051 with a final map required.
I second that motion.
Gong,
Yes.
Bailey's,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Tigliano,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes. All right, now you can.
I'm just going to I'll just abstain when the vote comes through. Is that all right?
Why don't you go ahead and leave the room again? You said you have a financial interest in this one.
Not me personally, my firm does.
Still, I'd like you to leave the room, I think, for this. So we can go ahead and open the public hearing for this one.
Okay, so we'll open the public hearing for this one, and if there's anybody wishing to on this item D. None, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve categorical exemption consistent with the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, and the state CEQA guidelines pursuant to Title 14 California Code Regulations, Section 15303, Class 3, pertaining to new construction or conversion of small structures, and conditionally approved tentative parcel map number PPM 18-014 with an exception and final map waiver.
I'll second the motion.
Gong,
Yes.
Bailey's,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Vigliano,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes. We are going to item number 6, which is the public hearings. I'm going to recuse myself from A.
For A?
A.
Okay.
Next.
And that's Wayne. Commissioner Millies
Oh,
will be the acting chair.
no, I don't think I have.
You're the alternate.
Yeah, I am.
Yes, Commissioner Millies, you are the vice chair.
No, I am, I know that. We're moving on to item 6, public hearings. A, special use permit number PSP 18-035, Paul Barajas. And this morning, David Alexander. Good morning, David.
Morning, Commissioner Millies.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
Vice Chair Millies, Commissioners, good morning. I'm David Alexander. I'm a Project Planner 1 in the county's Project Processing Division. This is for a categorical exemption and conditional approval of a special use permit number PSP 18-035 to allow the establishment of a 1,440 square foot third residence traditional home on a 1.37 acre parcel with 2 existing traditional residences, the AE20 exclusive agricultural 20-acre minimum zone within the Visalia urban development boundary. Subject property is located at 11312 Avenue 272 on the north side of Avenue 272, approximately a third of a mile west of State Route 63, south of Visalia, APN 126-370-007. Subject site is located within the FEMA Flood Zone X. Construction within Zone X requires no specific flood mitigation measures. The parcel does not have county right-of-way frontage. The parcel has access to Avenue 272 by the way of a non-exclusive easement road. To the west, east, and south, the surrounding properties are Zone AE20 and rural residences and rural agriculture. To the north is a mobile home park that is inside of Visalia city limits. The subject property is not under Williamson Act. The parcel was created by parcel map 222 in July of 1979. In accordance with section 9.6E15 of the Tulare County zoning ordinance, a third residence may be permitted in the AE20 zone if a use permit is first secured. Consultation requests were responded to by the RMA Engineering Division, Environmental Health Services Division, the Fire Department, Caltrans, and the City of Visalia. There are no species of concern and no waterways on these
Through the chair, what was the comment from the City of Visalia?
City had no comment.
No comment. Thank you.
The site is located inside the Visalia urban development boundary, and the land use designation is rural residential. The parcel is zone AE20, and the site contains 2 existing residences, traditional, garage, shed, 2 septic systems, and a existing domestic well. The proposed third residence will utilize an existing septic system and utilize the standard conditions of approval were made by the Environmental Health Services Division, the Fire Department, and the Planning Branch. Engineering Division and Caltrans had no comment.
And through the chair, how does this comply with LAMP?
It complies with LAMP because it's using a existing septic system, not creating a new one. And as said before, the city of Visalia was consulted, and planner Paul Bernal responded with no comment. Public notice for the project was mailed to surrounding property owners and published in the Visalia Times Delta with a 10-day public comment period. No comments were received.
Chair, question for David?
Yes.
I'm looking through here and I can't find it. Didn't I read that one of the comments required that the septic system be expanded if they were going to have another residence in the place?
Yes.
So that's going to happen?
Yes. And it will have to be engineered by.
Right. All right.
Recommend to approve, subject to the modifications as discussed.
Any comments from the commissioners?
Yes, I have one comment. David, I know you're learning on the thing that this one is, again, I've got no illustration, all the aerial that you had, and all the zoning maps and all that kind of stuff that you've showed, that's all well and good. It was not in my packet. I don't know if it was.
No, it's not in mine either.
But they have to be in the packet. I really don't have all the information I needed. Just sitting here seeing this quickly go by, kind of hard to make a decision on. And all I had on it was a Exhibit A on this thing here, and even that was kind of poor and hard to understand.
And
Duly noted.
Thank you.
David, could you go back to Exhibit A? Yeah, okay. I see where your existing buildings are, existing garage, a shed. Is that the proposed house that's connected? I don't know. It looks like maybe a small schematic of a house.
Yes, on the top part of the page.
Yes, yes, that's the third, okay, that's the third building.
Could be more clear, I guess, David, is what we're saying on this. It's a little bit confusing. And
Any other questions here? This is a public hearing, and I would like to, at this time, open this project up to the public for comments. Do I have any public persons in the audience who would like to come up and speak? If you can do so, please state your name and address.
Hello, my name is Paul Barajas,
Tammy Barajas.
and my address is 11312 Avenue 272. And the purpose, or the reason we're trying to build this home here is actually for our daughter that's getting married in September, and we're trying to give her as a gift, wedding gift, for them to live there with us, hopefully. So
Nice.
that's where we're at.
are we going to have any limitation as to who can occupy this, whether it be family?
It must be family.
Must be family.
Yes, and a 820 for extra residents.
And they do realize, like, it can't be rented out to someone later.
Yes, they
right?
do.
Any other questions? Other comments? Thank you very much. Any others in the audience who would like to speak on this project? If not, I'll close the public hearing at this time.
I have another question for David.
Okay.
David, could you put the aerial up for me? I didn't have that. And so I'm assuming that little box right in the middle, is that the subject property or no?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Normally, I'm not too keen on third homes on an AE20, but I can see the zoning is not proper there anyway. That's not going to affect agriculture. So, correct.
Are there any other questions? If not, I'll open this for a motion. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make that motion. We approve category exemption consistent with California Environmental Quality Act and the state CEQA guideline pursuant to Title 14 California Code Regulations, Section 15061B 3, general rule regarding the project that does not have a potential for causing a significant effect on environmental and conditionally approved special use permit number PSP 18035, subject to finding conditions.
I'll second.
Gong,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Vigliano.
Yes.
I just want to say on that one, I did the exact same thing by creating a parcel, and I live by my mother-in-law, and we're still married 30 years later, so it worked out. So. They've actually been our best friends until my mother-in-law passed, but my father-in-law is still there. He's 94, and it's as good as it could be.
Okay, let's go on to item B, special use permit number PSP 18-052.
Aguilar. One is for a categorical exemption and conditional approval of a special use permit number PSP 18-052 requested by the Zayo Group. On behalf of owners Randall and Arlene Correa, to allow a 420 square foot fiber optic utility building on a 12,500 square foot leased area, the southwest corner of a 160 acre parcel at AE 40, agriculture exclusive, 40 acre minimum zone, located at 11394 Road 96, Pittsburgh, California, approximately 2.5 miles west of State Route 99. And that's, as you can see, its location in relation to Pixley and State Route. APN number 931300001. Site is not located within any urban improvement area or urban development boundary. The subject site is not located within the boundaries of any specific plan. The project is located in the Rural Valley Lands Plan, and land use designation is Valley Agriculture. The following general plan policies are relevant project. AG 1.14, right to farm notice. ED 3.4, telecommunications. ED 3.8, business technology. HS 4.1, hazardous materials. Subject site is located at the southwest corner of the subject parcel. The subject site is located within the FEMA Flood Zone X. Construction within Zone X requires no specific flood mitigation measures. Subject site has direct access to Road 96. The surrounding properties are all zoned AE 40 and contain scattered rural residences, agricultural fields, and a dairy. Entitlement is found in section 16.2.d of ordinance number 352, which allows a public utility structure in the AE 40 zone with a special use permit. The subject property is under Williamson Act, preserve number 261, contract number 2666. Utility structures have been found to be compatible with. There is one species of concern in the area, tricolored blackbird. However, the subject area has been used for rural residences and agriculture for decades. The project site does not contain wetlands, creeks, waterways, or waterfowl refuge, and is not in the planning area of conservation plan. The 420 square foot fiber optic utility building will be located on a 12,500 square foot leased area. The building will not contain any water, sewer, or waste generation. The entire site shall be surrounded by a 6 foot high chain link fence topped with barbed wire. Double access gates will allow entry for the site for maintenance purposes. The hours of operation will be 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The facility will be unmanned and will be visited only occasionally for maintenance purposes, and those times shall be limited to regular business hours. There is a generator which will hold more than 55 gallons of liquid considered hazardous materials, and the applicant has submitted a hazardous materials business plan with the county. Public notice for the project was mailed to surrounding property owners and published in the Visalia Times Delta with a 10-day public comment period. No comments were received. This ends a staff report. Do you have any questions or questions for me or the applicant?
Maybe for the applicant. I have just, now this is just for fiber optics, obviously. There's no tower on this.
Correct.
Are the optics in the road, or how are they transmitted?
Underground.
Existing fiber cables in the ground, optics in the ground?
No, they're creating a new line from LA to Sacramento.
Okay. Oh, it's from LA. Oh, okay. So LA to Sacramento, and this happens to be one of the.
This is one of the stops.
One of the generator sites here to push it, huh?
Are you finished?
Yes.
Sorry. I have a question on all of these. The site is moving around. Where actually, is it actually on the corner of Avenue 120 and 96?
No, it's on the corner of the subject parcel. So it's on Road 96 and on the very southwest corner of the subject property. So it's just on Road 96.
Oh, it's on 96 then.
David,
Okay.
if you could go back to the, through the chair, if you go back to the site plan itself, I think it depicts it
Oh, the site plan.
fairly well. You can see Road 96.
I can't see it up there, but I can probably see it on my paper.
But, yeah, to the west of the site is Road 96.
Oh, I see it. Okay, and so then it's out. So it actually isn't on 120.
Correct.
Okay.
Not on Road 120
Okay. Okay.
or Avenue 120.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Did you already state your,
Recommendation.
you haven't finished your recommendation?
I recommend, move to approve, subject to the modifications, or, yes, subject to any modifications or conditions set by the county for right-of-way and approach, set by the standard approvals by the fire department.
At this time, we will open the public hearing. If there's someone wishing to speak on this project. Did you have a question for them?
They answered it. I understand now. I know what it is now.
Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and move it back to the commissioners to see for approval.
David, much better illustrations than this one. Thank you.
Duly noted.
I'll make a motion, we approve a categorical exemption consistent with the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, and the state CEQA guidelines pursuant to Title 14, California Code Regulations, Section 15303, Class 3, pertaining to new construction or conversion of small structures, and conditionally approved special use permit number PSP 18-052.
I'll second that motion.
Gong,
Yes.
Millies,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Vitigliano,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes. This was your first one, right, David?
Yes, the first one that actually came through. The rest have been maps, and we've done it all in one big go.
Get a little of the jitters out and
Yeah, it's nice to get through. And also Commissioner Aguilar and Diaz and all commissioners, I apologize for the maps. They were lost in translation, and I'll make sure that won't happen again.
Okay, item C, special use permit number PSP 17-051.
Aaron Bach, Chief Planner, Tulare County Resource Management Agency. In lieu of Dana Metlin today, as soon as my PowerPoint presentation opens here, I will begin the presentation. Just for the record, the applicant is here as well. Excuse me, I was incorrect. He had stated he was the applicant for this project. It was for the previous project. So I think I'm on my own here.
Patient, we understand you
We'll
don't do
wait for
this
you
every
to
day.
pronounce his name then. Antonio Villalpando.
Villalpando? Yeah.
Villapando.
I don't know, I mean, is it,
Villa.
is it
Villalpando?
Italian or is
Is
it
it Villa?
Spanish? If it's Spanish, it's Villa.
Well, they could have been there.
No, because if it was Italian, it'd be, I'm not going to try it, but the P probably
It
would have
would be
been silent.
Villapiano if it was Italian.
Again, Aaron Bach, Chief Planner, Tulare County Resource Management Agency, and before you today is a categorical exemption and special use permit number PSP 17-051. Chairman Aguilar, Commissioners, the project is to allow an agricultural service establishment engaged in farm labor, trucking, and storage of harvesting equipment north of Wood Lake. The project was notified according to the law, and we have not received any comments regarding this project. The project has been found to be categorically exempt from CEQA, and the entitlement can be found under 9.75E-35, which allows agricultural service establishments primarily engaged in performing agricultural, animal husbandry services, or horticulture services to farmers and services to farmers or farm-related activities in the AE40 zone. It is consistent with the general plan. The vicinity map, the project is located on the east side of Melwood Drive, Road 200, approximately 660 feet north of Avenue 360, north of Woodlake. This is the zoning map. The site is zoned AE40 and contains a single-family residence with accessory structures, the agricultural equipment storage area, and a citrus orchard. The surrounding properties are zoned agriculture and contain orchards and rural residences. Here's an aerial photo of the site. There is a general code violation on the project, a contractor storage yard, and assemblages of people without a special use permit approval. Also in the complaint were portable toilets parked by the road and loud parties until late at night. An initial inspection occurred on December 27, 2016, and the property owner was contacted regarding the violation. The project review committee was on June 15th, 2017 to begin to bring this project into compliance. Here is the site plan. As you can see, there's a long, narrow strip in the center of the facility. That is used for basically the contractor's storage of equipment. So he lines them up in a row. There used to be some overhead shade structures that were not permitted that they tore down, and now they place their equipment there. That whole central area was originally going to be used or was used for parties. They did not request an assemblage of persons use permit. Instead, they're going to go the temporary permit route and only do 4 events a year. And so this application really begins to bring this project into compliance. They've already come into compliance with the building code violations, and now that's all that's left is the contractor storage yard. They are performing services to farmers, so commercial services to farmers. So the project has the parking of 6 18-wheelers with trailers and the storage of 4 pickups, 1 2-ton truck, 12 tractors, 2 forklifts, and other equipment such as buckets, bin, and ladders. The applicant is a farm labor contractor for which most of the vehicles, including the toilets, ladders, and buckets, are utilized. There are not any farm laborers who visit the subject site. All the equipment is hauled to the off-site locations on a daily basis, and the farm workers meet the applicant at the location. The trucks are utilized in the transportation of fruit, typically oranges, from the field to the packing house. There are only 5 employees who visit the site and haul oranges to the packing house.
This wouldn't limit to 5 employees, right? It's just facts.
Those are just facts. It's not conditions of approval. As you can see, there used to be the toilets out in front. That's what we're really trying to stop. I think it was more the loud parties that got people's attention, but they have all of our attention now. So with that, that completes staff's report. I can answer any questions. I just wanted to note for the record, during the project review committee, code compliance was there, and this was a real effort on RMA's part to bring these people into compliance without having to shut them down, because they do provide a valuable agricultural service to the county. Just had to rein them in on their parties. They're not here.
I see they're not here, so have they been cooperative with the county?
They've been very, very cooperative. Usually even on the small temporary permits where they have overhead structures, it's sometimes pulling teeth to get them to get the building permits or to tear them down. They acted pretty swiftly to tear down the shade structures, and very swiftly to get their temporary permit in for their events. So they've been in real good compliance, and it's probably just important.
What kind of events was it again?
What kind of events? Yeah, generally weddings, quinceañeras, the standard type of events that they were charging for. So, and some of them got kind of loud, but they might have just gone to the wrong address, like so many people do. Go to RMA instead, but. Yeah, they've been very, very compliant.
I have a question. It's not a question, it's a comment. Again, on part of the project summary, it says that during picking season, October through May, the facility will operate 7 days a week from 7 to 8. And we've talked about this before. It isn't going to be 7 a.m. in the morning if they're taking toilets and and the
Dawn to dusk. would be-
dawn to dusk is what it really needs to say in there, because that's not realistic. I don't want somebody coming back saying, well, they were there at 5 in the morning. Yeah, they are. So,
Yeah, we'll make sure the findings of fact and the conditions reflect that.
thank you.
At this time, we will open the public hearing, and there is no public. So we will close the public hearing. And if there are no other comments, then entertain a motion to approve or disapprove.
I'll make that motion that we approve a categorical exemption consistent with the California CEQA and the state CEQA guidelines pursuant to Title 14, California Code Regulations, Section 15301, Class 1, pertaining to existing facilities, and conditionally approved special use permit number PSP 17-051 with modifications on operations as indicated by Commissioner Pitliano.
I second that motion.
Gong,
Yes.
Millies,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Pigliano,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes. Okay, so I think we've all been notified of the additional meeting next week.
Correct. This is just to perfect the record that you did vote for another meeting.
We'll
If
need
you-
a motion to, we'll need a
Yes.
motion to approve.
I'll make a motion, we approve an additional meeting for May 30, 2018.
I second that.
Gong,
Yes.
Millies,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Pigliano,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Aaron, is that meeting expected to be a long all day or kind of a deal? Or
Yes, prepare for a long day. It is Three Rivers, which if we will give you a script to hopefully maintain people to 3 minutes, and that may shorten the day considerably. We have no idea how many people are going to show up.
It's kind of difficult to read at this point, but the fact that it's over this holiday period might keep the crowd down to a dull roar. But we'll find out Thursday night, because some people will be coming to a meeting in Three Rivers to, find out more about how the process works in the planning commission.
I mean, there are people that are opposed to the amendment?
Are what?
There's people opposed to the general plan amendment?
Well, it's not, there's people that have concerns about the general plan. And when you have 3,000 pages and lots of comments, like for instance, I have one of the comments here, and there's not a lot of comments that came in, but this comment right here, this is on the water in South Fork Estates. And right away it points out some inaccuracies that were in the original draft of the plan. So I think what the people in Three Rivers want is, here's one guy in his neighborhood that wrote about 10 pages of comments about water. It's very good and intelligently written. It's not like what you get on a lot of plans. So it's up to Hector and these guys to respond to this stuff. And so what the people want to hear in the public meeting are the responses adequate, and should we just, okay, let's move on to the next part. That's what people are waiting. And in Three Rivers, and I know you've been involved in stuff that's involved Three Rivers before, this is an intelligent community with a really large percentage of people that have PhDs and look at this stuff and really value what the county's doing. So whatever comes out of that meeting, I think will be healthy, and we'll get to a better spot than maybe we're at right now.
Yes, and for the record, did we move on to the director's report?
Yeah.
Okay, good. For the record, there is a meeting. Commissioner Elliott, if you wanted to tell us the time you noticed for the meeting.
Yeah, well, it's 6 o'clock on Thursday. And what we're going to try to do is allay some of those concerns so that people don't come in here and say the same thing over and over.
But no, please, nobody on this commission show up to that, because I really want you to make sure you hear everything within the confines of the public hearing.
Right.
Very
So,
good.
yeah, please don't.
No one.
Yeah, I kind of have to, I think, in my responsibility in the community. Does that create a
You would
conflict?
probably have to recuse yourself if you did that, if you attended, because you are a planning commissioner, you have the power to make a decision on this community
Yeah.
plan. So you can't be gaining information that the other commissioners don't have access.
Yeah. Well, okay, I was looking forward to going, but I'm sure that,
Yeah, you can, and you just would have to recuse yourself, and that would, you know.
well, the thing is, the commissioner whose the plan is in their district, they don't really want to do that, so I wouldn't think. It's just, it's an important piece of our, planning for
And
rivers.
for the commissioners, we can report back what occurred at that workshop that the county is actually going to speak at as part of our presentation, so everybody can be apprised of what occurred there.
Yeah, nobody will probably live stream it on Facebook or anything, so we'll see.
Excuse me, my question would be, as he was saying, someone that has a 10-page, which is wonderful that he spent that time to do that, but that person won't be allowed to stand up and read that 10 pages to us. will they?
Correct. We're gonna have a script, and we're going to manage
Thank you.
each comment as it comes through. If it reflects something that was already
We've
addressed,
received.
that is something that we have already received, then they should not speak to that.
Even if it's something you haven't already received, even if they submit it at the time,
Right.
we usually in our scripts tell the audience specifically they can't read it into the record. They can
Right.
submit it at the time and then speak for 3 minutes.
Well, the key, I think, is, do we have access to all the comments, Hector, and how you responded?
Yes.
Okay, so how do we get copies of that? I know I requested
That-
a hard copy of the comment part at least, but.
Probably all get binders, right, with all
Well,
the
as far as the agenda item, we'll have all the responses to comments.
Okay,
He did most of those through the final EIR, so there's a portion of them, but most of the comments were in regards to the community plan itself.
right.
So those, like any one of our general plan amendments, would come in as comments in the record.
Is that stuff online right now? Okay.
And Hector Garrett, Chief Planner. It is available at the same website that we previously used, because basically we want to be able to refer the interested party, same website, but guess what, different area to look at, draft, final EIR, whatever that may be. And as a reminder, what we did, I responded to the CEQA-related questions. And if some of the questions were community plan related, it's not my area of responsibility to reply to, like, you should change that land use, that you should do this. No. I need to respond to the CEQA-related questions.
Right.
And you'll look at the table. We put it. We received a lot of comments. We put it in a table format this time, and you're able to go down by each comment, and then our response to that comment. And at the front, what I did is I introduced, the first time ever in none of our documents, is like, I'll call them 4 or 5 disclaimers to say, here's what I'm responding to, and then I did put down, because I am limited, which I like, to presenting fact, empirical evidence, like scientific evidence, expert, opinion, those qualified experts for air quality or biology or cultural or water, whatever the case may be. That's what I'm limited to. And in response, I anticipate that those who may make a comment, I don't want conjecture, I don't want speculation, I don't want hearsay, because I can't act on that. I like historical stories. I think they're pretty neat. One, as an example, someone had said the big flood of Christmas and this thing didn't actually happen on Christmas. It happened on the 23rd. Well, I think in everybody's mind it's memorialized as happening on Christmas, but that's not the point. That changed exactly nothing of the content, the context, the analysis of that plan. It doesn't do anything. But I like the historical accuracy that I think. But when we go to the meeting on tomorrow, I don't want to call them ground rules, but I'm going to say there are certain things I can answer, there are certain things I cannot answer. So I may disappoint a few folks, because I'm not going to give the depth of detail they may want. If they say a hypothetical land use, I'm not going to hypothetically analyze it for CEQA. So, we'll lay that out. I think, Dave Bryan did a great job, and Aaron and I, and we worked a lot of hours to get this out within the time frame. I don't even want to tell you the hours because you'll gawk, you'll just geep, you're like, no way, wait. But when Hector puts in 35 hours over the weekend, starting on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to get stuff done, in addition to his regular work week, he has worked a lot. So we did do a huge effort. We appreciate the community's feedback. Some of the stuff I can't answer CEQA-wise. Some of the stuff will be answered community planning-wise. That's probably what's going to happen.
Well, when people continue to provide comments this week, are those incorporated the same way?
Well, just what we're going to do is just to make sure that there are no people who feel like they weren't part of the process, we will most likely address all the comments all the way through to the board, so they can't complain that we didn't. But I do want to use the word address. It doesn't mean we had to make changes. Even the water letter you're stating there was factually accurate on some points, but otherwise it was more of an ask. So I don't want to get too far into the details on the details about this, but the fact is that just as a matter of policy, we tend to answer all comments all the way through to the final board matter.
And approximately how many of you answered, Hector? Just a ballpark? It's a lot, huh? Okay.
More than the usual. Also, I just wanted to announce we won the Central Valley APA Award for Empowerment and Opportunities for our 21 community plans in the infrastructure and disadvantaged infrastructure and planning policies study. So we are now going to try to win the state award for the same, and we should get a announcement on June the 5th to the board that we received that. So thank you.
Great. Congratulations. Aaron, the Anderson Village specific plan, there's going to be quite a bit of testimony on that, I imagine, too, from people.
I'm not certain. From what I understand from the Planning Commission and City Council hearings at the City of Kingsburg, there was people in the audience, but I don't think they received too many public comments towards the end. There's been a few workshops already, so I'm anticipating the worst, but hoping for the best. So I see that being lighter on the comments than Three Rivers.
Will that come first?
No, that'll come second.
Well, there is I noticed there's a catering truck parked out in the parking lot. So
yes,
need it.
General Services allows the catering trucks to come to the county offices, so that would be available hopefully that day. But we will look towards providing lunch if it goes that long.
But you can recess for lunch, definitely. Just say you're reconvening in an hour or whatever.
We approved the 2030 general plan, I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
2012.
That was a room full of people that wasn't that complex. This can't be that more complicated than that one. And what I told the audience, the citizens, is this is an amendable, modifiable document. So people want to drill down into this, and then they want to say this will never change, and that's not true here. So I think the message that has to come from the chair is that we're here as your fellow citizens, we're your peers, and if you have things you want to change over time, those are all modifiable. Because otherwise people like to talk and hear themselves talk. I have a problem with that.
Yeah, me included.
Okay.
No, we don't have that in Three Rivers.
End of my diatribe.
Oh, and just also as a matter of fact, the Qualls project was approved by the board unanimously as well. So.
Anything else?
Yeah, I've got a question here, Aaron. I noticed on the news that Madera County got $6 million to remove their dead trees. Is that money available for Tulare or what?
Yeah, we've been, yes, we've been seeking grant funding for a long time, and we have received grant funding. Eric Coyne's made a few presentations in front of the board regarding that. So it's a continued effort by Supervisor Worthley and a whole committee that Hector's part of to do what we can to remove the dead trees.
We haven't received any yet.
I don't know for certain. I don't know off the top of my head. I believe we've received some monies, but
Falling
I don't.
down on their own.
But yes, we continue to work on that subject.
Anything else? Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Good job,
I wish this was,
Hour and
I wish this was
7
next
minutes.
Wednesday.